high has been last year. Last December, December, October, November, we saw market moving quite a lot. But as soon as the market has opened this year, it's been just quite a slow momentum overall. One of the main reasons for that is, no clear indication of what's really happening with coronavirus, because they're saying that there's new variant being found nearly every corner of the world right now. So this first was UK, now Brazil, in Africa as well. They found new, COVID variant, and so they're much more deadlier. They're much more contagious than the normal variant, the normal coronavirus that was found last year. So on that basis, market just taking a break. They're just waiting. How bad is it going to get for the world, as in terms of how bad it's going to get for major economies in the world, such as US, UK, Germany, Europe, how bad it's going to get for them. And if it gets really bad, then the market's going to start to unravel, and then the market will be seeing to move. So if I just look at long-term effect of what could happen with dollar is, as you can see, this is my daily chart, and this is where we are right now. So we are very low. Usually what happens is something like this is followed by a V-shaped recovery. So this is what we call a V-shaped recovery. So you can see a V-shaped drop followed by a V-shaped recovery. So it has tried to recover. We can clearly see that DXY has started to risen, but if I just zoom in on a daily time frame, it's about to reach a very strong resistance level of EMA, a 50 EMA resistance on daily time frame. But we can see that last time when it was at this level on 4th of November, it has dropped quite strongly. It dropped really strongly after retesting this 50 EMA. You can see it tried to break it, but it failed. It was a forced breakout, and it dropped really strongly. So that shows that once the price reaches this 50 EMA resistance, we will see some kind of a a pullback. We will see some kind of a sell pressure coming into play, and that could mean that we could see dollar going back to the lows of this 50 MA support level. So again, overall, of course, as the year goes by, dollar is most likely is going to go to it's going to start recovering. It's going to start going back to the highs of 102, which it was earlier last year before the pandemic hit. So overall, I know as long as the vaccines are being rolled out, of course, there's good news as well as bad news. So vaccines being rolled out, more people getting vaccinated all over the world. That means that more people will be immune to virus. That will create herd immunity. That means more people are immune, then that will be less infections. And when that starts happening, then the economy all over the world will be getting better. And when that happens, dollar will be rising, and we can see that dollar could be then on its way to going up. But overall, for now, I do think for next few months, let's say till end of March, I think dollar is going to be ranging. It will most likely won't break above this level. The max could go to his 91, and it will range between 91 and 88. So it'll be about 400 points a range for dollar, up and down. And before March and April hits, when these vaccination programs have been working, there's less lockdown in the world, then we could see dollar actually finally breaking above this key resistance level of 92 and going upwards. And we could see dollar, as the year progresses, we could see dollar back to the highs of 102.61 by the end of November, December this year. So that's our a major outlook. That's our yearly outlook for a dollar pair. That's the most volatile pair. That's the pair that really moves the market. That's the pair that's really everyone trades. So it's really important for us to know that what could be the next course of action for dollar, for us to really be making profits every time we trade. Next thing we're looking at is, of course, we just talked about DXY. So that's DXY. DXY is dollar index. So if you don't know what dollar is doing, you have to look at DXY, because you can't look at a certain pair. So if you know what DXY is going to do, that will show you what could happen against GP. So we can look at another major pair, which is GPSD. So we're going to go on 4 time frame. If I just zoom in 4 time frame, we clearly see that after making it, as I said in my daily watch list yesterday, after making a double top, there was a neckline. Once the neckline broke through, it has dropping. It's been dropping, and it tested this downtrend line support level around 2 in the afternoon yesterday, and then it rose again. Then it is dropping again. But overall, I do think this is a very strong support level for GP, and GP most likely, one of the main reasons GP started dropping was PM announced that from Monday there'll be nobody will be allowed to come in, and nobody will be allowed to go out anymore from UK. So that's a very, very strong curb. There's a very strong lockdown that could affect. That's why market reacted quite negatively on that. But of course, Monday we will find out more about how would it work. What's the logistic behind it, and once the traders start understanding, okay, the logistic behind it is that it's only for some days. It's not that of a bad thing. The trade route will be still be open. Business personnel will still be allowed going over the seas. It's only for tourists. Then yes, then the market will turn back and will start rising upwards. So we could see GP again back to the highs of 1.3695 by the end of the week. If market sentiment goes in positive, then GP will rise, because GP overall is a strong uptrend. If I go to daily, let me show you daily. This is day time frame. So GP is overall still an strong uptrend. Daily overall could rise. Then most likely is will be rising. Above 1.38 or 1.39 by end of March. We'll be seeing GP around 1.38 mark easily, maybe even higher than that. If the market moves as it's been moving for the past few days. It has retested 1.37 mark quite a few times now. Last time we tested on 13, then again on 14 Jan. So on 2 days in a row, it tested the 1.37 mark. But that just shows that that's a very strong resistance, and that just shows that GP, if it goes again, probably third time is the charm, that GP most likely will break above 1.3 mark and retest this trend channel resistance level, which will be around as I said, 1.3783 or 1.38 mark. So this is a resistance level that GP could retest, and then that would be a time when we could see some kind of a bearish momentum from there. But overall, long-term time frame, GP is going to be rising, because there's two positive news that happened with GP. No more Brexit issues, so therefore I know what's happening with Brexit. UK is the first country in the world that's doing a vaccination program compared to other countries in the world. So they have done over 2 million vaccine doses already, first dose of course, and about 500,000 second dose, and they're planning to do about 50 million vaccinations by mid-Feb. So that's a very strong number, and that's a very good sentiment for investors in pound, because that just shows that in coming days UK will be one of the first countries in the world that could come out of COVID very strongly. And that's something that investors want to look at. They want to look at it, they want to invest somewhere where where the country is going to be the first country in the world to have really come out of COVID, and that would be the best place to invest. So overall, long term, we're looking at GBP strong upwards momentum. As the market opens on Sunday, we will know. As the market opens tomorrow evening around 10 p.m., we'll finally know what will happen GP. But I do expect GP to actually move upwards and break above this resistance level and start rising back to start making new highs. Probably it could go. The new high would be just about, if it just breaks 1.3720 level, that would be a new high for GP for the last 2-3 years. So keeping a close eye on that pair. Another pair we're quickly looking at is Euro USD. So USD again, clearly see that after the news that came out on, I think it was Thursday, the ECB president spoke, and she goes that the banks could face very, very bad, the asset issues once the COVID passes through. And on that negative, very very negative note, we saw that euro is falling. So on euro on a 4 time frame, we clearly see that it has a free fall. Basically, it can just drop all the way back to 1.862. That's about 150 160 pip drop, and that's very much possible. The only support it has is right now is 1.2070. So the only type of support it has is about 30 pips. Is that support level at 30 pips? So if it drops another 30 pips, that's the last support it has. And if it doesn't bounces up from this support, if it breaks this support lower, that just shows that euro will be falling very very strongly, guys. We could see euro dropping 100 points. If it doesn't if it doesn't get support at this level, and it starts rising from here. So keeping a close eye at this very major level, key level of 1.2058. If the euro break this level, then we could be seeing a very, very strong push downwards in terms of euro's future prices. But again, if it does held and get some support, then we could see euro going back to the highs of 1.2180, which is most likely possible, because I do not think the dollar will be continuing its strength till the end of the week next week, because we can clearly see on the day time frame we saw that is reaching a very strong 50 MA resistance. So if that resistance holds and sellers are ready at that mark, then we could see pairs such as euro and GBP finally making a move upwards, and could be looking to move quite strongly, something in range of 50 to 100 pips in the next week. And we're gonna be quickly at gold key levels now. So let's quickly look at gold again, guys. After this live, we'll be doing question and answer. So if you have any questions, you can always ask us, and we'll be more than happy to help you. So gold currently, we can clearly see that's a gold chart. How it looks like on a longer time frame. Let me go on daily time frame, be easier to see. So that's a daily time frame right now. You can clearly see that in daily time frame, gold is not really a trend right now. If I just draw my downtrend line here, you can clearly see that that's the downtrend line here. So it's like it's a downtrend, but not really uh, uptrend as well. We can see an uptrend line here. So we can clearly see that it's a downtrend, not really a trend to be honest. Gold hasn't been really moving since 21st of September last year. It just been moving up and down between 1942 and 1801. So about 142 pips range, 142 point range currently for gold. So up and down, up and down. But overall, gold looks like is about to retest a very strong support level of 1812. So if I go to 4 hour time frame, which is this support level here. So if gold drops and retests this 1812 support level, that's most likely going to be a price where buyers will be coming to buy gold. That's most likely the price the buyers been waiting for, because that's why we haven't seen any buying pressure yet, because buyers want gold to drop actually 1812, and then buyers will come in, and that could happen simultaneously when USD retest the 50 EMA on a daily time frame. The DXY, when DXY takes the retest the 50 EMA on daily time frame, gold most likely is going to be around 1810 level, and that would be a perfect time for buyers to come in the market, sell dollar and buy gold. And gold we could see by end of next week, I'm hoping to be as high as 1862. So we could see gold rising about 50 to 60 pips by end of next week, which is very much possible. And if if there's any more bad news comes out from America or around the world, if there's more lockdown, more countries canceling flights, more and more countries talking about closing the borders down, that just means that gold will be traded a lot more, and we see gold as high as 1897, even 1900, if we see another major country blocking the uh, you know uh, blocking the borders. So that could be the next key level. So two key levels for gold right now: 1812. That's a very strong key level. If that level holds, gold is going to will be rising quite strongly all the way back to 1879. That could be a possible resistant key level. And if this level breaks, then gold has another key level at 1801, which is about 12 points down. But if that level breaks, then another, that's a major drop for gold, and then that major drop will be around 1760, which is very very unlikely. I do not think gold will drop to 1760 anytime soon, unless they find out that coronavirus has been erased from the world. That's the only when we could see gold dropping that low. But if that doesn't happen, then gold is most likely going to find some kind of support 1812, and from there on out we could see gold rising upwards. First level of resistance will be at 1847, but major key level is 1880. This resistance is the major resistance, because gold has failed to break this level on number of occasions. But when it does break it, that shows that gold is very bullish right now, and it's perfect time to enter the market and buy gold. Again, other thing we'll be looking at is just quickly check. I think it was daily news. Yep, we'll be looking at major news events next week. So let's quickly go through major news events next week. So Monday, we do have a GP, Governor of England speaking. That's a very important news, guys. On Monday, because that will actually let us know that what's really happening with all this coronavirus cases that has been rising in UK, or how is it going to affect the economy when it does close its borders down for all of, from all closed borders from, and nobody can enter or exit UK anymore. How's that going to affect, what's their plans for coming for coming months for Europe, GP? So Governor Bailey has announced that he won't be cutting any more interest rate for GP. That's why we saw GP rising again. But again, if he reiterates or says again that there will be no more interest rate cuts in coming months, that would give GP a very strong push upwards, and we could see GP rising very very strongly. So that's some major news we'll be looking at Monday at 1:30. Second major news, Tuesday is going to be slow day as always. Wednesday is going to be a quite busy day. We have two major news. One's a CPI for Euro, very important. That will let us know how the Euro economy is doing, and that could be really important for Euro pairs. And second major news we have is again Canadian monetary policy report, that and rate statement. So that's a major news for Canadian dollar, because that will let us know what's happening Canadian dollar, because Canada also has really high number of cases right now, and their economy has not been as good as people are predicting. So if that comes out bad, then we could see USD dollar dropping. And we have finally President Biden speaks on I think it's Wednesday, and that's going to be the biggest news, because he's going to be talking about the stimulus package he's announced the other day, 1.9 trillion. stimulus package. Second thing, he'll be announcing what's his next strategy to fight against coronavirus. So if he says, let's say, we'll be doing a full lockdown for so and so many months, that's going to be a very, very bearish moment, very bearish news for investors, and we will see dollar plummeting very strongly. And again, on that negative news, we will see gold, GBP, and euro rising strongly. So another major news. So let's go on Friday quickly. So Friday we have quite a few major news. I can clearly see that on Friday we have it's filled with major news. In the morning we have quite a few GP news, and then in the evening, in the afternoon, we have quite a few existing home sales again for dollar. So again, a very volatile week in terms of compared to this week, next week. So we'll be keeping a close eye on all of those major news and trying to get the best possible entries to trade with. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining. Again, if you have any questions right now, you can let me know right now, or this video is recorded, so we can always, we'll be uploading on YouTube and you can watch it there. Thank you, guys.